Everything Everywhere All at Once is an amazing movie. Its title is fitting because it honestly has it all. I mean, from the comedy to the action to the Rakakuni, what more can you ask for? This movie has been out for a couple of months now, but if you were like me, you were unable to see it until now. I know a lot of people get turned off from a movie or a show when it's overhyped or they can't seem to get away from it, but when I tell you this movie deserved the praise that it's been getting, I mean it. I mean, this scene is quite literally one of the directors getting dominated. Alright, maybe that's a bit too much, but this film actually meant a lot to me. It's best seen with no prior knowledge, so if you haven't seen it, I would definitely say go watch it and come back. But this film carried a lot of emotional weight, despite the goofy outlooks and the crazy things going on. I know I attracted a lot of anime viewers with my content, so in anime terms, this film reminded me of the feeling that Evangelion left me with, in the best way possible. And that being said, I'll try to give you my dumbed down plot description of what really went on in this insane movie. As I'm sure you heard, this was a multiverse movie, but instead of the Marvel one we're used to, we start off with a Chinese family. They were in a busy laundromat and the amazing Michelle Yeoh plays Evelyn Wang. Evelyn's the mother of one and the general centerpiece of the family, and even the generations. And why I mention the generations is because this film is essentially focused around it. It's really just Gen Z versus boomers versus mega boomers. And I know that might sound extremely stupid, but it's true. Aside from the endless action and the horror that occurs in the movie, the ideals are actually the center focus of the film, as the ideals change based on the generation. This film could have easily been about a Chinese family and their daily lives and followed the issues that each generation has. But in complete honesty, I have no need to watch that. I basically lived through it, and if for some reason I wanted to watch that, I could probably find it on YouTube or go watch some documentary. My point being is that this film does the exact opposite. It creates a multiverse of madness introduced by Wayman Wang, who's played by KiWan. Yes, KiWan from The Goonies, Indiana Jones, and other iconic films. And I'm so glad that he got the part. I've been binging interviews after the movie as one does, and apparently he was damn near blacklisted. As an Asian American actor, he found it difficult to get the opportunity for a part, despite being a renowned child actor. And to me that's crazy because I can't even imagine what it'd be like for an Asian American who has never even starred in a movie before that and looked into acting. But luckily we live in a slightly better timeline, and KiWan finally got this big part and killed it. And as confusing as the multiverse can be, they explain it damn near perfectly. The verses are created by different decisions, and each time you make one, it causes another branch of timelines. It meant that there are endless versions of you depending on the decisions you made. And I'm gonna get real here for a second. I haven't done a face reveal or anything, but I will soon. And I don't mind admitting that my parents were not born in the US. Chill out, you don't gotta call ICE yet. My parents actually gained their citizenship. But what I'm getting at is that they came to the US pretty late. And because of that, they work extremely hard day in and day out. And besides the time that's lost between us during those hours, what hits me even harder is what they could have been. Or more so what they should have been. There's a specific sequence in the film that focuses exactly on that. And it's honestly hard to talk about, but in truth, this film portrays it the best. I want to believe that there's another version of them out there who don't have to work as hard. Maybe famous actors or multiverse heroes. Who knows, but what I do know is that they deserve it. And I'm glad that this film was able to shine even the tiniest light for that matter. Alright, let's reel the comedy back in. Look at this police officer getting slapped by a dildo.
Oh my god. Hey yo, what the f—
The reason I named this vid as Life Personified is because that's the biggest strength this film has. They take something as simple as a minority family struggle and then throw them into this unknown multiverse that teaches the characters more as they go on. And of course, as I already described, I have a personal connection when it comes to the minority aspect, but the film goes beyond that. As I mentioned, it focuses on past decisions and regrets that you have, as well as the hopes and dreams. And you don't have to be a minority family to go through that. It goes even deeper on the view of life, and now that I'm gonna have to get into that, I have to include some spoilers. So if you haven't seen the film, please go watch it, it's a must watch. And if you don't mind the spoilers or just have seen the film, then let me get right to them. Stephanie Shu plays Eleanor, who's the daughter of Evelyn, and she also happens to be Jobu Tubaki.
Juju Tubuti.
Her explanation to becoming the supreme being and also the villain of all multiverses is her mother, Evelyn. She actually pushed her too hard in every other verse, and it's also why Jobu killed all the other Evelyns. And as I mentioned personification and metaphors, I'm sure you realize this is another one. A strict Asian parent pushes her kid too hard, and technically it worked, but did it really? Luckily, we live in an age where we look at mental health and not just outcomes. Similar to Jobu Tubaki, I think of a real life scenario. If someone's pushed into something they don't like but become it, yes, on the outside they succeeded and reached that job, but was it really what they wanted to do, and are they actually happy? The film is full of stuff like that, and my video would be hours if I tried to explain it. Rather, I want to focus on Jobu Tubaki's ideals. The reason she was looking for her mom was not to kill her, but teach her the ideal that nothing matters. Of course, Evelyn doesn't understand this at first, and is completely lost as to why Jobu is trying to show her this message, but she finally understands. After going through each verse where there were literally rocks in one of them, which I actually loved, she finally accepts Jobu's ideals and understands that nothing matters because every decision means something else. And the way I interpreted that was as Gen Z. There are plenty of things to make us feel small as humans. The world in itself has billions of us, and there's endless talent and success stories with equal amount of failures. Because of this, we throw away our rationality similar to Jobu. Nothing matters. The internet helps show us this, and it's hard for other generations to really understand. Especially when we have mental health issues relating to that feeling of being small. Having moments of happiness that seem to go away so soon while negativity sticks. And this hit me hard. It was yet another metaphor that this movie got right. I mean, they might as well put me in the sequel. But what really hit me like an absolute truck was Waymond Wang's ideals. I mean, that name couldn't be more fitting. This man took straight W's. Alright, I know, a terrible joke, but I meant it. Waymond was the star of the film alongside Evelyn, but his ideal and look at life was simply the one. His ideal was understanding that our decisions might not matter. Happiness doesn't always last, and we're nothing but specks in a vast universe, but we must choose to look at the good side of things. We could understand that we aren't much, but it's enough, and we see the good in others and yourself even though actions might say otherwise. Waymond describes it perfectly in this scene.
我总是看到事情好的一面，那不是因为我天真，而是必要和需要。这也就是我的生存之道。The only thing I do know is that we have to be kind, especially when we don't know what's going on. 我理解到你不是一个服输的人，我又何尝不是？只是我们选择的处理方式不一样。
A lot of people might see it as dumb and think that you'll end up forgetting about that ideal. Being kind for the sake of it and trying to look at the bright side. It's not easy. Honestly, I think it's harder than having a negative outlook, but that's what makes it worth it at the end of the day. It's why I keep making videos, even though the little man on my shoulder is telling me it'll never work out. And it could be why you keep at that goal that you have, even though there's nothing that guarantee that it'll work out. The film in technicality is great and why it's so universally praised, but the reason it's so high in my book is the meaning behind it. Films or shows that can personify life are usually the best ones, and for this case it's Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I hope that convinced you to watch it, and if you still haven't watched the film, please go watch it right now. It's definitely worth the watch. That concludes my Everything Everywhere All at Once video. I usually do these kind of outros things. Hopefully it's not too long. I feel like some people rather just not have this in the vid. But I've been sick for a little. You could probably still hear in my voice. And I wanted to make this video. I understand that I've been a little all over the place when it comes to anime or shows or movies. But I just want to make vids about, you know, the greatest pieces of media I guess I see. And I'll probably be back on my anime timing soon. So look out for that. And thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one.